Welcome back to the Nightlife Podcast, Season 4, Episode 2, guys. And we continue to be quarantined. We continue with these crazy times that we're living, this pandemia. But we just cannot continue to complain about it. We have to start looking for solutions. We have to start looking for, ways to get that out of our heads, out of our minds. So that's one of the reasons I decided to go this route. Even though we are going to be looking at a problem, we're going to look at the bright side of it, and we're going to try to find, see what some people are doing when they're getting stuck, basically, or many are getting stuck. Today, we are going to look at the music industry and how COVID has affected it. Also, we're going to look at different things that are happening, ways, working on those issues and figuring out how, artists can be able to either perform or be active or continue to bring out new music or, whatever it may be. So for that, I am not the expert. I'm bringing not one, but two people into the show today. One has been here before, and you guys have known him as something completely different, which is actually social media expert, which we'll touch on something about that too. But without further ado, let me bring in today's guest. First of all, Gali, how are you, my friend? And Ruben, how are you guys?
Salud, Julio. Thank you for
Salud.
having us.
Hey, salud. By the way, guys, if you guys cannot see my beer, it's because it is green. So that's why the green screen won't let you see it. So, guys, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what you guys do together? Don't get too personal, please.
Well, Ruben and I been playing in the Miami scene in many different projects for the past 10 years together. And as of 2020, we started with this new project called La Tribu Royale, which is a Latin fusion band from Miami. We're six members. We all have different backgrounds of music, and we come together in this one project called La Tribu Royale. We started doing new music in January, and we just released our third single, Holiday, 4 weeks ago.
So January of this year, you started doing new music, but together you
Yeah,
have.
we felt like 2020 was a good year to we thought to release music because of the whole 2020 design of the, and we're trying to adjust of all the stuff that are going on now. But yeah, we started on releasing music as La Tribu Royale as of January 2020.
Got it. But you guys have been doing music together for a while before, correct? Different bands, different other things.
Yeah, we actually we've been playing together for over 10 years, and we actually participated in many different projects, and we've been playing together for all this time for like such a variety of audiences,
Right.
especially in Miami, Mexico, New York.
Yeah.
But when we decided to create La Tribu Royale as a brand, as a new name, it was actually recent. It was actually last year, and we released our first song in January, like Julio said.
I see. So obviously, January, we had in January heard about this thing that was happening in China. Nothing over here. Nothing. Maybe we started to hear a little bit about, some people are getting sick in Europe, in Spain, and Italy. Maybe a little bit of that around that time. I don't think anything in any way that any of us could have, by any chance, expected or thought of possibility of anything happening this year. Maybe thinking, okay, so that's something that might come over here, but it'll just come and go, as most expected. As a matter of fact, I decided to get back into ownership and into a restaurant, as you know, Julio, and 2020 sounded like a good year for that too. For us, the opening of the restaurant was supposed to be March 20th, which was actually like first or second week of complete shutdown here in Miami. Now, so tell me, you know, I suppose that the one of the most important things when it comes to the music industry in general is live performance, correct?
Yeah, so that's how we started. We got together as a live band performing every week. We used to have weekly shows here in the city of Miami. That's how we got together to play, because we both projects, and then we just met once a week to do weekly shows for, and then we started as our song. We didn't have anything on social, Spotify or YouTube, so it was great to see how people were learning just by our shows. So live shows have been like a DNA for a very long time already. So we've been trying to struggle. We've been struggling to adapt, but we I think we have a plan for at least the rest of 2020, which is something that we want to talk about, how we're adapting to not only record but only figuring out how to do live shows and still do what we love, which
Right.
is what music is about.
So just to give people a little perspective as to what the music industry is all about and everything. I mean, live performance is a huge deal. I mean, I can tell you guys that just from closing for 6 months, the music industry in general was hurt by not receiving $10 billion in sponsorships alone. It's an industry that, a big part of it was live performance. Live music, live entertainment, concerts, big concerts or small concerts. Some people may only look at live music as to the huge concerts in their cities, but when we talk about all the small venues around the country and around the world, where live music is a big part of the whole concept, that has also been affected, and that's where you guys come in mainly in that atmosphere, for example. Now, on the other hand, then you have live streaming, which is something music streaming, which is something that has been coming up probably since from what I know around 2014, 15, 16. They started to go up a little bit, but I believe that streaming was around 9% of what the industry income used to be, whereas to today we're talking about 47, almost 50% of the income is from streaming. So imagine how important it becomes, how important platforms like Spotify, which I know that you've always been there when it comes to Spotify. I know you've always been on it. So tell me a little bit about that, how the adaptation, where does one have to go when, as a performer in general? I mean, because I can give you a little bit of feedback as to what venue owners have to do, and but at the moment it's closing. Really, there's not much they can really do. I know at first, for example, everybody started doing live streaming on their Instagrams, Facebook Live, that kind of thing. But everything that I saw, either DJs or artists, when they were doing any of that stuff, I didn't see any monetization of this process. It was really more of, let me show that I'm here still, and allowing people to know that you're still around, that you have not gone anywhere. Kind of like that regular post on social media and letting people know in your stories that you're still there. Now, when it comes to music, this is how you guys make a living. So where how do you start to adapt? What do you recommend to the people, or what are you guys doing? What are your 2020 plans?
Well, it's a process of adaptation, because basically we are just creating what's actually going to be our manual of procedure for the future. So we're doing a lot of testing, definitely. We're learning to work remotely. We're actually independently learning how to operate different equipment and use technology in a way for us to create a profitable business, and in a way for us to create a lifestyle at the same time. So it's a work in progress. So we're doing as much as we can to integrate and to understand the moment that we're going through and the limitations that we have as an actual business that we're trying to run here.
Right.
And it's an entire industry that was affected by this. Like, if you think about it, like you said it, imagine how many performers out there have had to figure out from one moment to another how to run what they were usually doing. I mean, even for ourselves, like, we used to play almost weekly. We used to be really out there, and we just had to reinvent how the operations of our brand are going to develop in order for us to continue swimming in this ocean called the music industry.
Right. So it's definitely a time for reinvention. That's 100%. You must reinvent. I'm glad to see that. What I am not hearing is one thing that I have been hearing a lot from a lot of people, which is just do something else, do something different. Go try to, you guys are artists. You guys, I mean, if you guys see these people perform, you will see what I'm talking about. And I talk about you because I know I've seen you guys on stage. I've seen you as different, projects. And this one, by the way, I love. But in general, any artist, and for example, I've been in this industry over 25 years. You tell me to go do something different than to be at a club or, working in the industry in general, in entertainment, whatever it may be. There's just no way. Not because you can't go and do something else, because you probably could go learn, do something else. But this is, we were lucky to find something that we really love, and that we have, I guess in your case, you have a talent for it. So reinvention is a must if you consider yourself an artist and you plan on staying around not just 2020 for the rest of this year, but for what's coming after, and the possibility of something else like this coming again and you being ready for it, right?
I think that's exactly it. I mean, reinvention and not being scared of changing. Like, I hear a lot of people waiting for the world to come back to normal, and they don't realize that this is a normal. This is what the normal is. So you have to, as an artist, try to find ways to not only monetize, which is what Ruben was saying. We're setting up a platform of content where we're able to not only release music, but we're thinking of also venturing into some podcasts where we can talk to producers and other musician friends. We're thinking of doing clinics of, like, drum clinics of how to learn some techniques using our drummer. We're trying to use all of our talents to make sure that not in 2020, but from 2020 on, we're making sure that we can set up a platform of content where we won't be depending so much of going out there and play, but we can make sure that we all do what we love, which is music.
Correct. So can you elaborate a little bit more into those ideas? Examples of the different things that you guys have already been doing or building?
So we started. The first thing we're doing is we're recording a lot of versions of classic songs in the style of La Tribu Royale, to build that content that will allow us to start monetizing. Because, like I said, we started our YouTube channel on January, and as of today, we are doing. In the last 3 weeks, we reached our 300 subscribers. So, as you know, you need a certain amount of subscribers and hours to be able to monetize. So right now, we're creating a bunch of content to first get us to that first step of being able to monetize. And then when we start monetizing, we're gonna try to do like pieces of content that people would not only be entertained but also be educated, in a sense that they're encouraged to find their own talent and and translate it into a monetization system. As you know, I have a lot of experience in the social media marketing. I come from a background of of doing campaigns for record labels and companies, just like LMG and
Right.
Universal Music, and so we're just applying all those tools and combining them with their talent, and creating just creative content that will eventually be a way of monetization for us, and also looking to inspire musicians to not be afraid of the changes of not being able to go out and play a show, but encourage them to do content that will live on a platform that will make money for them.
Correct. Gali, let me ask you a question. When before all this, when you mentioned working with us with LMG, there was something that I used to see, and I only knew about this through you, which was actually, artists were bringing out new songs, new content like on a weekly basis. It's something that was completely different to back in the day when you would just come up with a new LP, a new CD, or a disc, or you needed the whole 12, 14 songs, whatever it was, and then you come up once a year or every 2 years or whatever. Now it just became that it was a weekly thing. Talking specifically about, for example, the reggaeton industry, which is the one that we used to hire the most to perform in our events. Now, have things changed in that sense? Because I can't tell you that I can now honestly go out there and say, yeah, I heard the new song from this guy or that other guy or whatever. Like I don't know what's happening.
So definitely, man. I mean, that's something that I predicted when we started the whole quarantine. I talked to Ruben about it. We had a discussion about how songs are not gonna become popular as they used to, because songs, in my opinion, the the urban songs, reggaeton songs, do become popular when people are in the club. So they have a need to dance, so they look for this reggaeton beats to go in the club and dance. So right now people are looking for songs that are more in a relaxed vibe. Want to listen to whole albums. So in one of the big changes that I've seen is like reggaeton artists putting together albums. This Friday, last Thursday, with Yandel did a release of a 28 song album, plus like almost 30 songs. It was something like that, because people want to make sure that they listen to a whole thing now, because they're not only depending on that hit song when they hear it at the club, but they have time to listen to the music when they're doing homework or any other activity at home. But not only the genre is changing, but also the way the music is being produced and written. The whole reggaeton beat, which is it relies a lot in the low end beats, because all of the music that has a powerful kick when you hear that bass is what makes you dance. So there's no need to dance right now.
Right.
A lot of people steering away from that and making a lot of chill music, a lot of ballads, a lot of trap. I think is one of the things that is going to keep growing. So we're doing a whole reggae influence because we feel like it's a nice vibe to feel good while at home,
Right.
And that's one of the main changes that I see. I mean, it's going to be harder. A lot of songs have come out. You see J Balvin put out a song with Bad Bunny and Alipa, and it was news the first day that came out, but nobody's talking about it anymore.
That's it,
because
right.
nobody's going to the clubs and listen to the songs on their environment.
Correct.
So I think that we go back to what you were talking about, of this time is a time to adapt and expand your talent and try new things.
Right.
I think if you have the ability to write songs, this is a good time to be creative and forget about the mainstream and just be yourself.
Correct. So now let me ask you a question. When you guys came up with this new concept, did you already, I mean, like we said, we didn't know what was going to happen this year, but was it a coincidence, the fact that things went in towards this vibe, and that your music is also, in that direction, or was this, were you behind the whole COVID thing? Wait, I lost.
Rubén, creo que estás en mute, Rubén.
Yeah, there you are.
Sorry.
You're back.
Um, I don't know if you know about Aikido, the martial art, right?
Right.
You know that the basic principle on it is to transform the negative into positive, to receive the attack and turn it back around. So I would say that it's a coincidence within a coincidence bigger than the one that is actually happening. Because, I mean, we're just going through this and we need to figure out a way that we can actually do make our dreams come true and do keep our word to ourselves and to keep working in our plan and we're here, we're making it happen, putting music out, creating a new business plan, putting new ideas, new songs, and we're very excited. And we weren't really expecting it to like be connecting with so many people. Like we're literally getting messages from all over the world right now, and it's crazy. And I'm very thankful about that. And I just want to keep working. That give us more gas in order for us to keep building. But yeah, a little unexpected and a little bit of coincidence at the same time. But we're here.
Right. I suppose you miss being on top of a stage.
My God. Oh my God. That you have no idea. That's wow. Like being on top of a stage is literally the best feeling you could literally get. Like it's something that because it's not just about being there, it's about the connection that you create with the crowd. And even if it's a smaller crowd, 15 people, 25 people, 30 people, that's amazing. With the vibe that you can get, it's a moment to remember that you can only keep to yourself. And yes, we all miss it a lot. Like last year, we had a record year. We played over 70 shows,
Right.
70 or 80 shows, I think. And imagine, but I mean, we'll get there. We're working on an idea as well that we haven't really mentioned yet because we're still planning, but we're doing an Instagram tour. So we're like taking over certain Instagram accounts from different bars around the States. And since, like you said, they're very affected because they're not producing as much as they were, we're going to try to keep them doing some promotion and of a show, let's say at X place in New York City, X place in Los Angeles, so the local people can have the experience of seeing us performing live, and that's as close as it gets, and
Right.
hopefully, like this situation will be over soon, and we can
Right.
take advantage.
Let me ask you a question. If you talking to different artists that are out there, all over Europe, Canada, Asia, and here in the U.S., would you recommend to the ones who make a living 100% on top of a stage to look for something else while this is happening, or are there ways already looking at monetizing this already that can definitely work and basically support a home? Because and especially outside of this country, because over here we are lucky we're able to receive some help from the government. We have it's not a country, it's a rich country, and it can help in that way, but there are many countries, especially where we come from, in Latin America, where it's gonna be it's tough already, but the more time that goes by, it's gonna get worse. So I don't know, what are your thoughts? What do you recommend?
I mean, well, in my opinion, one of the things that I see, and it's something that you did a few years ago, and I really admire your passion for your podcast and your transition from a promoter to a book writer, and then to a podcaster. I mean, I think anybody, the way that people now are gonna be able to stay afloat is by reinventing not what they do, but reinventing their talent. If you're a drummer and you used to going on tour with a certain band, and you used to do 300 shows a year, because I know friends that will play for huge artists that are not playing right now. Like you
Right.
think about, Pitbull's drummer, I don't know, Maluma's guitar player, or
Right.
big artists, big people that are used to a paycheck, and you know, is now is the time. If they didn't do it before like you did, now is the time to start thinking of going digital somehow.
Correct.
Teach people how to play the guitar.
100%.
Start doing podcasts of talking about your experience on tour. It's now is the time to get your talent, to create content that will eventually monetize. And I say eventually because this is a very important thing. It's not, it's not an overnight thing to
Oh,
get to the point where you monetize and make money out of your content.
right.
But it is it's a thing that if you do constantly and you have a plan, you eventually get there. So I
Right.
think that that's one of the advice that I can give those people that are used to being playing in venues and going in concerts and tours. Now is the time to think of a strategy where you can go online and start creating content. This is the
Right.
moment.
Right. So I know that right now there's some things, for example, here in the U.S. in government that they're fighting for and they're trying to get through Congress that have to do with helping in the restaurant industry and some of the bars and all this. There are possibilities that some of those venues may end up having some budget to spend on what used to be their expenses, and that includes their staff and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that some of those venues remember, because I'm gonna tell you something. You and us, and when I say us, I mean us as like LMG and any promoter out there, are on a separate boat than the rest of the staff. Everybody that is part of the venue, direct staff of the venue, the minute that a venue receives help for their staff, they go, boom, this is for you guys or whatever. Or they bring them back first because they are going to open, 50% capacity or whatever, low budget. But we are basically the last to come back in a way. So it would be nice to see some of those venues, actually taking some of that budget and spending it on, on promoters to get just thinking out loud, what you guys mentioned, the idea of doing a possibility of an Instagram tour, of a live tour, for example. It's an amazing thing. But it is most likely going to be promotional at this moment. But it could become something that if the venue has the money and it's been given by the government, it is, not just to pay for the rent for the guy that owns that there, but those other people that also need a job. And, you are entertaining people, it could pay for you guys' time and your performance and your talent and what you are doing, and it could also get some promoters to promote that event live and get a commission from whatever it is and make it a paid event, somehow, or a donation for the staff or whatever. Just, people are willing to put their money where their mouth is, when it comes to helping, and they realize what we're going through. A lot of people are lucky to have their jobs and haven't been affected. We are in an industry that I believe we are going to come back. We are going to come back stronger. It's not, I've heard people talking about the possibility of this disappearing and changing completely. Changes are going to happen, and this is going to make us basically, it already is making us look at it in different ways, to be prepared for things like this to not happen again, or if when they happen again, be ready for them, so I'm sure there are possibilities out there. It's just you gotta think outside the box. But what I like the most is what you said, is the fact that what you need to reinvent is your own talent. It's not try to be something else. There is no point in becoming an accountant now. It's too late.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, count the days till you're back on a stage. That's the only thing you should be counting. But
And going back to that, like when we did a holiday, which is our single that we did. We thought like, okay, is this? We almost didn't shoot the video because we're like, oh my god, like, is it really worth it? Like, how are we gonna do it? And man, like now is the time to think of just going at it and do it. Now is the time to be digital. And
Right.
if you didn't see it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, like we did, like when I transitioned from an artist to a digital marketer to a campaign manager for labels, and I started seeing how that business was what could lead to making money, just the same as you did. Now is the time to do it. If you are at home, don't just sit at home and complain. Oh my God, I wish I can be playing the guitar. No, try to find ways to start recording yourself and start doing content. And we did that with Holiday. We took all the measurements with all of the staff. We're using masks. We were placed in a safe distance from each other, and we recorded the song remotely as well. Like Alejandro, which is like our guitar player, had no experience recording, nothing, and
Right.
and we help him through the process of first buying a sound card, monitors, what microphone to buy. We will do Zoom meetings of how to we will discuss of how to record, and we did it. It was the first time that he did something like that. It may not be perfect, but it set him up and prepared him to be able to do this. Now we're recording our third song remotely, so you see the process working. If you
Awesome.
adapt your talent to the needs of today. It's
Right.
not going and, like you said, and going to be an accountant or be an Uber driver. If you really need to, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but if you are able to reinvent your talent, I'm sure that you'll be able to find a way to do a living in the near future.
Right. If you're driving an Uber, make sure you're playing your music at all times.
Yes, make sure you're playing Holiday by Tribu Royale.
There you go. So, Holiday. By the way, let's get into your music for a minute. Holiday, talk to me about the song. Where this the whole idea come from? What? I mean, Holiday just
I'll give an introduction, and then Ruben can speak to you about the whole video thing, because he's the director of the video with this other guy called Sammy from Dominican Republic. Great job on the direction. But the song, I started writing that song while I was on vacation with my wife. So I wrote the song about my wife, and I compare her curves of how to the ocean. So that's how Holiday came out. It came out on a holiday, on a vacation. So when I came back from vacation, I met with the guys, and then we finished writing the lyrics and the music, and it was just, like Ruben said, good timing and coincidence that we finished the song right in quarantine, because we were able to relate it to the time. And it's a beautiful song, in my opinion. I think it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy.
right.
It grabs you and puts you in a place where you want to be, which is like nice beach,
Right.
vacation vibe. And Ruben can talk to you about more
Hey,
of the video, what the
it
video is about.
it made me want to grab a beer today. So that says
Salud.
something.
Salud. No, and basically, like, we're very happy with the results. And right now, we're implementing the same technique in what's coming next. We're actually, this Saturday, we're going to be recording a new music video, and we're like following the manual that we started with Holiday, which is like how to shoot a music video during a pandemic. So
Right.
we're writing that book, and that's what's exciting to me, like the entire process of creating the new music business era and creating the new how to like guide to become an independent artist and create your own record label, do your own music, do your own visuals, and do your own marketing, especially connect to the people, perform your music, write your music, record it, mix it, master it. And it's like every day it's a learning process. Every day it's a new adventure, but I'm very confident in my team. We're very connected, and we all have the same goals. So I'm just very happy with the result of the video. What can you say, Julio?
Julio, as in that Julio.
That's right. I'm talking to two
Impressed.
Julios.
La verdad que to the Julio Square. I think one of the most things that I'm happy about, just not only that we already went past 170,000 views in just 4 months for an independent band. We're not, we have the knowledge, we have we have some knowledge of marketing and how to reach people, but the real result is that we're connecting with the right audience. Because the comments in the video have been extremely exciting to see people write things like, "Oh, I have coronavirus right now, and I found your song through an ad."
Right.
And I went and checked out the video, and it made me feel better. It made
Right.
me feel not so sick. So we realized that we have a how to, like Ruben said, we
Right.
create the music, we record it, we shoot the video, we can do a marketing, and that's one of the things that I wanted to speak to your audience about. If you follow the steps that you provide as well, Julio, I think your audience will be able to find a way to transition to this to new digital era that we're
Right.
all living. It's possible. We are an example of that.
Correct.
And a lot of results that we are creating is because we're not scared to try new things. We're just going at it, and we're repeating and making a system where we can grow and get to that point where we're able to monetize and do things right.
Right. You know what's funny? I at the beginning of the pandemic, I was looking at the lives that the different artists were doing, and the biggest names, the bigger names, were the ones having the most trouble actually getting the camera right or the audio correct or the mic where it was supposed to or turning it on or off or because they were at home by themselves when they're used to having so many people help them and do everything for them. While the ones, in a completely different situation, but with some knowledge of what social media and this whole, new era that we're in is all about, we're completely killing it in that sense. I mean, of course, in the end, people are following the big names and of course if Juanes gets together with Fonseca at home and they start singing together, and it doesn't matter if it's in the garage with whatever background, the people don't really care about that anymore. As a matter of fact, people want to see the more real from you as it can be, which is something I love also because I think most artists want to show the real selves. It's not so this is an opportunity for everybody that wants to show their true selves, that artistic side of you, and not be afraid and not think that anybody's going to be looking at you funny or weird or whatever. The weirdest ones are the ones that actually make it, the ones that are going to be different. So it's a good
It's
time.
and it's great that you say that because you can relate that to your personal experience. When you are nightlife a promoter or entrepreneur, the people that come to you are because they know that you're genuine and you do things not in a we talked about this a bunch of times. How you're not supposed to rent a Ferrari and do like a whole video pretend to be something you're not. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
people are not really, they already have that, and there are certain things, there's certain channels for those things. In music now is a good time to be yourself. And we were talking about the holiday song, how you say like, oh, I was a little chunky or whatever, my hair was long, look at me now. Like I'm right now is the time and to take away all the filters because everybody's at home, everybody can connect with you in a personal level.
Right.
And I think this is a good time to create audience, to create a fan base, and just by being yourself. There's nothing to hide, there's nothing
Correct.
to it's not make believe. Everybody, we have one thing in common, is that we are all going through this together.
Yes.
So I encourage everybody to just be yourself and do what you love and find a way to just be real. I think that's one of the things that I want to tell your audience. It's very important for me and Ruben and everybody from the band. We're very ourselves. We're not trying to be something we're not, and we're just trying to make good music and make everybody happy. I think that's one of the goals of La Tribu Royale for
Right.
this year especially.
Right. I agree 100%. So yeah, so I think with that, it's a good way to leave this. Now I'm gonna try to do something before before leaving, and it's actually I'm gonna try to put on the video of Holiday at the end of the episode. I'm hoping that I can technically do it, but I'm gonna do that at the end after you guys are gone. And then we'll see people's reaction. But I heard the song. I danced to the song. I played the song for my kids, which is always how I test music. And they were running around, jumping around, and it was a great vibe. They enjoyed it, and a good thing, it just gets stuck in you. And again, it made me grab a beer. So that is always good. I believe 100%, guys, that music is one of the things that is keeping us sane throughout this time. So I thank you guys for continuing to pursue, your dream, what you love, your passion, because we need it. Imagine a world. I mean, we're already right now with a world without the bars, and people are realizing that we are more than just a bar and a place to drink. We are the cheapest psychologists you can get out there. There's so many things that we do, at the bars, at the clubs. When it comes to socializing and our regular lives, restaurants are suffering now and everything, but music, imagine a world without music. You just, try to imagine that, how scary and how awful it would be. So thank you for what you do. Guys, where can people find you? Because we did run out of time.
Well, we are in every single social media under the name of La Tribu Royale. That's LATRIBU, and then Royale, the word. And that's our website as well, latriburoyale.com. And thank you very much for the opportunity, for being here at the Nightlife Entrepreneur. I'm actually your fan, and well, you've been there through our career, through the years. So we have a definite connection. So I'm very happy to be a part of this. And I know Julio is as well. So thank you. That's it.
Always thankful, Julio, for your time and for your platform. I think you're doing an amazing job for everybody that's listening to you and growing with you and learning from you. And thank you for your time. And it's great that we are encouraging people to just, be yourself and use your talent, and it will get you places for sure. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, guys. And remember, guys, you can find my book on Amazon, The Nightlife Entrepreneur on Amazon. You can follow me on Instagram as The Nightlife Entrepreneur. You find everything else basically at nightlife.university, all the courses, groups and Facebook. Just go there. You can watch the podcast there actually at nightlifepodcast.com, or you can go to the Nightlife University and it's there too. And I'm going to leave you guys with the music and see you next week.
Baby, the sun is out so bright today. I probably need some holiday. Everything feels so good with you, girl. I'll take you down to the beach. Feel your body next to me. Everything feels so good with you, girl. And maybe we'll go swimming in the sea. It's hard to look away when you're with me. Your body's like the ocean, curvy waist in motion. Come and get your body next to me. And maybe we'll go swimming in the sea. It's hard to look away when you're with me. Your body's like the ocean, curvy waist in motion. Come and get your body next to me.
Y el sol nos está esperando y ya comenzó un nuevo día. Visitemos los lugares que tú siempre me decías. Madrugadas de aventuras en un barco imaginario, navegando tu cintura, naufragando entre tus labios. Nos vamos de vacaciones, olvidamos los problemas, relajémonos un rato y nos tiramos en la arena. Yo estoy cansado de esta cuarentena, quiero vacaciones en tus nalgas, nena.
The sun is out so bright today. Probably need some holiday. Everything feels so good with you, girl. Oh, I'll take you down to the beach. Feel your body next to me. Everything feels so good with you, girl. And maybe we'll go with me. Yeah, your body's like the ocean, curvy waves in motion. Come and get your body next to me, and maybe we'll go swimming in the sea. It's hard to look away when you're with me. Yeah, your body's like the ocean, curvy waves in motion. Come and get your body next to me.
Cause nothing makes me feel the way you do, and I don't even know what you're gonna do. Just let me know if you wanna get down. Life too short to be fooling around, and no one makes me feel the way you do, and I don't even know